My good people, you have now entered the Doe Spot. I'm your host, J Wandoe, and I'm joined today by my guest, my co-host, Kelvin Vino Martin, who has been just a force on the internet lately, really pushing out positivity. Not just say lately, but just overall. And if you can see this, you can see his rare brand. And I'm just honored to have him on and for him to come on and speak with me and join this conversation. I think every episode is going to, and I want it to be unique to the person I'm speaking to. I never want to have it a cookie cutter type of platform where this is coming or this is coming. I like surprises, and like I said, I'm honored to have them on, and hopefully we give you guys a great conversation. I know it will be, and I'm just blessed to have you on. So, Kev, man, speak to the people, introduce yourself for those who don't know, and I appreciate you coming on, most definitely.
Well, appreciate you, Dro. For those that don't know, you know what I
Yeah,
mean. So, yeah, man, Kelvin. You can call me Vino, which I probably prefer. We'll probably get into that later, maybe,
yes, sir.
maybe another
Yeah,
day.
we can do that.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm a professional basketball player. I've been playing for, going on my 12th year. Still waiting to sign, but I'm here, and I'm a very interesting person. Just know that to love and to be loved is rare. That's the main thing, and let love conquer the world, and we're gonna go from there.
Okay, love is we talk about love everywhere. Even when we talk about hate, the opposite of love.
Hmm.
You have to show. Oh, no, say have to. Many people show love in different ways. Some people show love by monetary value. Some show in the physical sense, and others just show in what they do day to day. And you have some
Hmm.
people like myself sometimes that have done things in life that I did not love, but I did it out of obligation. And so
Mm.
today I wanted to speak on those things when we find ourselves trapped between, okay, I'm good at this, so I'm just going to do it, or I need some money, so I'm just going to do it anyway, but I don't love it. And other things
Hmm.
where I have to, show this, my family, my kids, my wife, the people that I'm related to. And we talk about family and relatives. It could be two different things depending on y'all situation. But how your passions. This is a passion of mine. Like just speaking with people, meeting people, and in a way where we connect through what we both love. If I didn't love talking, if Dino didn't love talking and sharing his brand and sharing his intelligence, sharing his story with people, he likely wouldn't do it. I would assume that you wouldn't do it if you didn't love it. You
Yeah,
know,
not at all.
yeah. So it's obviously we both in a good place. Two black men, two men from the South. I lived in the state where he's from, Georgia, for
Two
7 years.
29.
229
Shout out.
represented. Yes, sir. And I kind of know I understand the soil from which he came. And he told me recently he played ball from in South Carolina, where I'm from. So,
Hmm.
you just never know who you're around and who you can connect with. If you're doing the things you love, whatever you eventually you're gonna meet those people who love the same thing. So before
Hmm.
we get too much further, Vino, obviously a nickname that had to come from somewhere. So if you don't mind share with me for the first time, share with my audience the first time. So
Yeah, for sure. As you know, I play basketball. I play basketball overseas, and Italy is one of my favorite countries. Italy is one of my favorite countries I played in,
I love
and
Italy.
Italy is known for food. That's what they're known for. And I, in this time, since I was overseas, I began to I had to take care of myself a lot. So I had to cook. I had to learn how to cook since I'm over there because eating out can be expensive. Even though eating out overseas is not as expensive as eating out here.
That's true.
But anyway, so when I got to Italy, they started calling me Kelvino.
Ah,
So in that point, it was like Kelvino Martino. Like it was like my Italian name or something like that. It was dope. It was cool, whatever.
yeah.
So I ended up doing like cooking videos at the time as it was like Kelvinos. And I ended up playing in Bologna at this time. And then one of my teammates, which is my brother now, Tony Taylor, he was like, "Hey bro, I'm not calling you Kelvino. I'm calling you Vino because it just
Straight.
Kelvino just too long. It's just straight to it.
Okay.
I'm calling you Vino now. So from that point forward, I was like, I like that, bro. I never had a, for me, I think it's just so uncommon to have like a name with a V.
Mm.
Especially like with me, what people always call me, most people call me Kevin, even though my name is Kelvin. They
Yeah.
don't
Oh,
see the
yeah.
L for some odd
Right.
reason. But I don't want no one to feel bad because my mom calls me Kevin. She doesn't call me Kelvin. She named me Kelvin. But supposedly at the hospital, I was born in Germany, so supposedly at the hospital they got mixed up. Whatever. So that's why she always calls me Kevin. That's her excuse of that situation. But anyway, everybody called me Kevin. I have all these different names. Back in when I was in school, in high school, everybody called me Kmart because Kelvin Martin,
Kevin Martin.
Kmart.
Yeah. Kevin Martin. Yeah.
So I got that name in AAU. But then it got to Kevin, Kelvin, K. It just depends on where I'm at and who's speaking about me because it could be a different name they could give me. But in Italy, most people, especially in that Bologna team, call me Vino. So it's like now, kind of like we talked about it earlier. Now it's like I'm turning the page to a new chapter, and I just kind of want to embrace Vino. It's I've been hearing Kelvin all my life, Kelvin, Kelvin, Kevin. So it's like sometimes I just be like ordering some Starbucks. What's your name? Vino.
You know.
So that's it. It's just a tap into that side. And my mom is Hispanic, which makes me Hispanic too. So it's like my Hispanic name in a sense, like my Hispanic side. Like since it's foreign, it's different.
Mm.
Kelvin is like I am in America, but when I want to tap into my hola, ¿cómo estás? Vino.
I I get it completely. Grown, born as Jawan Muldrow. I go into the military. They usually only use last names. Oh, Davis,
Hmm.
Johnson, Brown. So my boy from Georgia, from Savannah,
Shout out to
912,
Georgia.
and he was like, I ain't about to call you Muldrow. I'm gonna just call you Dro. This, and like I mentioned, this '06, it's a similar situation. So Young Dro was out. Shout out to that boy Young Dro, who's doing his
Shout
thing,
out to
coming up
Dro.
out of his rehabilitation,
I'm
all that.
cleaning this.
And
Yeah, he
man,
did.
I
I
heard it
seen that. I
so
seen
many
that.
times. Yeah, so yes,
I
sir.
seen that.
And so I'm almost in that same. This Wando character came from being overseas. After I did get out the military, and people see me in Japan, and they see me in England, and they're like, "Where are you?" So I think about the character Waldo. Where's
Nah, I
Waldo?
like that. I like
J
that. I like
Wandoe
that.
came from that. So we both have a story behind the name, which that could be a
Uh,
whole nother topic. We actually could just talk about that the whole time, but this is not to kind of swerve back around.
that was a clever play by you. I like that.
I appreciate it.
I like that. I
I
like that.
really had to put some thought into it. But so when we talk about who we are, even how what we're known as, or people call us things, you have to be the person to allow that, right? If people
Hmm.
call you Kevin, if you immediately was like, no, don't call me Kevin, call me Kelvin by my name, eventually most people would just okay, I'll conform. But when it comes to, excuse me, what you're doing in life, professional basketball player, you told me that wasn't even a first love. That was just something you grown to be. So explain that a little bit is how your origin story and how you came to be a professional basketball player. I know that's not an easy road.
Yeah. My father and my oldest brother, they played basketball, and I got an uncle that played basketball too. So I kind of grew up when I was like 5, watching them play in certain situations. I didn't really pay too much attention to it. I was a big football guy. I love football. I love the physicality of the game.
Bro.
I never had played organized, whatever football. I think my mom wasn't really like fond of the ideal of me playing football just because of maybe the contact. And it wasn't until probably like middle school, I probably tried to play football. And I was just like, I'm not for this, son. I'm not for this just sitting here waiting. I, maybe I had maybe I just was a hyper kid and I needed to be
Mm,
active like
right.
all the time. Just to be feeling like I'm doing something. I'm still like that today. Like feel like I have to do something I
Same,
can't just
same.
sit still. Um, and so basketball ended up coming around because of just jealousy. it was interesting for that to happen as a kid, to just be jealous of two people that was just in my middle school that was just popular in football, and they played basketball, they
Mhm.
ran track, one played baseball, and one was my cousin, shout out to Thad Williams, David Arnold, phenomenal athletes, and just off of jealousy of just wanting to be the man
Yeah,
as a youngin,
want to
because
feel
we
a
just
part
so
of that.
yeah,
Yeah.
we just competitors. We just competitors. It wasn't no hate towards them. It was just I want that. I want that. I want that shine again. And it wasn't like during the whole time. It was one particular moment.
That's
One
all it
particular
takes.
moment. We was in middle school, and this is when I knew that I was jealous. We was in middle school. We was like 8-0 or something like this. We're playing against a team called Thomas County Central. They had these two boys that were on the team, crazy good, and we
Mm.
ended up beating them at home. And then the girl, they had like, it was small schools. They had like a little media,
Mm.
and they came in. They asked like, "Yeah, can we speak to, Thad and David?" And I'm like, "What about me?"
Yeah, I played my part too. You didn't see those boys I
So,
was getting. You didn't see. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I get you.
and from that moment, I had, I was just jealous in that moment. But I didn't use that to be like upset about them or mad with them. That was just for something for myself. And I
Motivation.
said, exactly. And I told
Yeah.
myself, I said, listen, basketball will be your sport. And
Mm.
and from that point forward, that's all I did. I worked my butt off. I was in the gym. When I wasn't out in the gym, because in Adel we didn't have gym, so
Yeah,
I was
no.
outside in the hot sun. I worked my ass off. I did. If anybody that knows me from Adel, Georgia, they remember me growing up, they can tell you, they can account for that this boy here was working. Like, everybody referred to me as Kmart when I was in during that time, and I had the dedication. I had the love of just being great, because I received so much doubt because I was in the football county. Everybody
Right.
in the South, if you know Georgia, in the South especially, we football. That's all we are. Shout out to Valdosta, Tylertown Lounge, Tylertown, you
Respect.
know.
Valdosta 229. Prayers to y'all
So
too right now. Whenever y'all hearing this,
yeah, for
what you're
sure.
doing with that hurricane.
Definitely, it was tough where Elaine. So for a lot of people, with a lot of lights. I had coaches even tell me, like, I want you to play football. I'm like, I played my freshman year. It was cool. I was good from my understanding. All the guys that I played with that was older than me, they knew.
Mm-hmm.
But it was politics. I learned about politics at an early age, which I didn't really too much understood, because my whole thing was, you play the best people. You don't play
Yeah,
who
that's
got the
available. Not
money, or
right. Or the
but
coach's sons, your relatives.
yeah, but
Yeah.
fast forward to me professionally, it's the same situation. You're
Mm.
gonna play who you're paying the most money, or in that situation in high school, who's giving the most money,
Ooh.
or coaches, whatever it is. So
And this is
that's
this
just
is the
something.
this is the early 2000s you talking about. This is not a
Yeah, this is this
NIL
is
type of.
this
This
is
has been going on.
2004. This is
Yeah.
2004, 2008, my high school. So,
Okay.
just imagine like how it is now, to fast forward it. So, it's okay. But I ended up playing football. If they would just gave me an opportunity, because I was playing well in the scout team. If they would have gave me an opportunity just to, play JV or something, it'd been cool. But they had their reasons, whatever. They didn't think, it's cool. Oh, fine,
Sure.
whatever. From that moment forward, I told myself, I'm not playing football no more. Y'all didn't want me, I'm cool. But the thing about me is that I would still like work out with the guys. Like, I was always in the weight room with the football team. So, sometimes we'll go out there, run routes, and I would kill them. And it was like, "Oh, you got to come to play football." I'm like, "No, I'm not playing."
Yeah. I
Just
just
because
gonna work
I was
out.
a little petty. I was a little petty
Sure. I get it.
being young.
Trust
Being young.
my
But
gym. Anybody that played ball with me, my gym. I had highlights in the gym when the guys would come in, but I was never even considered to be on the team for whatever reasons.
mhm,
But I get what you're saying. Like I know I can beat him if I, I've even had them saying like, bro, why aren't you on the team? Well, I wish you could
mhm,
ask the coach that. Give me I don't know, a private workout or something. I don't know what I need to do. So
exactly.
I feel you.
So yeah, so it's just, even after that, I decided to run track because I wanted to work a job, which I was like, work a job, will run track. Mm, I didn't get the job, so I was like, I'll run track. Cool, whatever. And running track, I dealt with coaches that, that just wasn't. I don't understand how you are a coach, teacher, you're overseeing children, and you have the ideal or the motivation to diminish a child's dream or just discourage them, then encourage them. And that was
Mm,
the situation for me because I'm running track, I'm doing high jump, I'm dunking on basketball court, and he wanted me to high jump. If he would have really paid attention to me, even to this day, I love running miles. So I
okay.
was like more of a long distance runner than just a high jumper. Like, but that's the whole thing about it. We don't pay attention to so many things that we need to pay attention. The kids will give you the signs. We just have to pay attention and want to pay attention and care. But if we
God,
don't,
listen. Let ask them what they can be. If you show me something, and they usually going to show you or tell you exactly what they want and need from you.
and that leads to you loving something that we talked about, kind of going back to that
Yeah.
point of just you'll learn how to love it, or you'll love it more when it's something that you choose to do than someone that is forcing you to do. So with him in the situation of trying to get me a high jump, I'm like, you can't tell me you can take what I do on the basketball court to track to me high jump. And he was like, well, what you do on the basketball court is not that entertaining or that's not that good. I'm like,
Hmm.
and I looked at him and I was like, I never quit nothing in my life at this time anyway. Besides, like when I was in sixth grade, I mean seventh grade, I quit football because I just didn't like it.
It didn't fit you.
It didn't fit me at that time. But I
Yeah.
ended up playing the whole year my freshman year in high school because I was like, I quit it. I'm gonna do this. But in this situation, I'm like, no, I can't be around someone like that. So I quit. And now my motivation is even more because now everybody's telling me, oh, you're gonna have to play football because you're not gonna be able to get a scholarship. And that just motivated me even more. And we end up getting a black coach who knew basketball and who my sophomore year who could show me what I need to do and taught me and everything. Coach Tommy Blackshear, who was at Tipton, who actually won the state championship. I think on 95, 96, his team was ranked fifth or sixth in the nation
Wow.
in Tipton.
Shout out
So
to
I
Coach
watched that.
Baxter.
Yeah, I would spend all my time with him, and I would watch his state championship game that he won when he won state. So he got there and he really like helped me get to where I need to go because he was pushing me. He know the game, and they would ask him. They would try to because he knew he had big influence on me, but he never was like, "Yeah, man, you need to play football." He was like, "I'm just telling you what they told me. You don't want to play football? That's fine. I don't care." And as all the coaches doubted me, this and third, I proved them wrong, and I end up by the time I was junior having I want to say 15 D1, and then it added up by the time
Wow.
I was a senior,
Come
where
on,
I
man.
was like one of the top players in South Georgia. And it wasn't until probably I got to AAU. It's crazy. I just met one of my old AAU teammates, like probably like 3 weeks ago, named Jamal Force. He from Alabama. And I seen him randomly in Atlanta, bro. We was
Uh,
moving to
that went
Arizona.
random. That went random.
For sure it wasn't.
You already know.
For sure it wasn't. And we end up going to the same little wing spot.
Wow.
And we turned. He looked.
Twenty
I saw
years
him come in the
later.
door. I turned. I looked. I was like, "Ain't no way, bro." And we just had a connection. And it was just, and then we was just talking. In that time, I was like, he was giving me high praise, which I appreciate. It's good to see, as men to like just praise somebody, and not really
Right.
feel like, not really try to like downplay anything. Just really, just straight genuine love, which I
Right.
respect to the fullest. And I was telling him, I said, bro, like when I started playing AAU in 10th grade, I started playing AAU late. They was already playing AAU. I played AAU 2 years only. And I was just telling him, I said, when I seen y'all playing in Columbus, Georgia, and just playing in these tournaments, I knew I had to be better. I had to work even harder. That's why the scholarships came. Because for me, like you asked me, I thought I was the best player ever until I got to AAU
Mm.
and I stepped on that court and I seen other people. And I was like,
Yeah,
oh.
the speed, the bumping.
These
He's
guys
like
nice.
they're my age. Just watching the
And he
Derrick
was,
Rose of
yeah, he was my height.
not 20 about that. Yeah,
Exactly.
that's
And
yeah.
and Derrick Rose is my class. So I played against I don't think I watched Derrick Rose play. I played
Yeah,
against
he
OJ
was around.
Mayo.
Y'all was around the same time. Yeah,
Yeah,
same era.
I played against
Yeah,
OJ Mayo. I played against Bill Walker. I played against these
come
guys.
on, man. By this time, I was out of high school, a couple years. So, but I remember, of course, the OJ Mayo. And for those who don't know, OJ Mayo, Filet just did a video on him. Just check. That was just the clips, and I'm pretty sure in person is nothing like we can sit here and talk about. This is just basketball. But we talking about other things.
OJ Mayo was different, bro.
Yeah, I
I
couldn't
watched
imagine.
OJ play for two different teams, and they used to fly this man out. Like he was like what it is now. Like to see him play, he think he played for Miami Tropic or something like this, and they would fly him out to play because we was in Houston. He flew in, and it was like he had a whole entourage. Everybody was like, it was probably how it was when LeBron was playing. But that
Yeah,
OJ was like our LeBron when we was seeing it. Like I'm like, dang, OJ is nice. I can't right. He was tough. Tyreek Evans, another one,
so,
tough,
yeah.
tough. But these are moments that in AAU that test me. I remember I guard Tyreek. The first time I guard Tyreek, he was in Atlanta, and Tyreek at this time couldn't go left, and I
Okay.
knew that.
Yeah.
So Tyreek, everybody gave me high praise. We won the game. Tyreek had like 5 points. We played Tyreek later on that season in the AAU
What?
season in Orlando, and I had to guard him. And Tyreek, I guess Tyreek, he might not even remember me, but Tyreek evolved phenomenally because he could go left, right, any way
Over
he want.
you? Yeah.
Man, listen, he bust my ass. I ain't gonna hold
I get you.
you. He
And so
showed me the truth.
that's a whole lesson in itself, though. Like you said, the same way when you saw those guys playing, he realized you're his barrier. We allow things in life to be our barriers, but it's up to you to say, you know what, I'm gonna go around it. I'm gonna get better. We go. You talk about running miles. I'm pretty sure if people looked at my run log and see 2 miles, 4 miles, 5 miles, one person may be like, "Oh, I do that every day." Another person like,
Hmm.
"Wow, you run this," and with all the things I have to do throughout a day, where you become conditioned to whatever situation you're in, whether you're lazy or somebody that doesn't work very hard, you're conditioned to that. So if you did need to get out of a situation through running or whatever you need to do to get to it, if you need to pick something up and you don't lift often, or you're not just going to do it just because you think in your head I'm
Hmm.
going to be able to do it. So that this dedication that you put into things, even this talking, this wasn't a thing for me 2 years ago, 3 years ago, where I could just sit
Hmm.
there and even asking you, hey, would you mind talking on my platform? That wasn't something not that I wasn't bold enough to do it, but I'm at a point now where I'm like, this is my purpose. So you either gonna say yes or no. People gonna
Yep.
either rock with you or they're not. You either gonna get picked for the team or you're not. Now what you do after that is what matters. When you do get that
Hmm.
yes call, make sure you're on time. Make sure you're dependable. Make sure whenever you have something to say when people ask you a question. And
Yeah.
we have these stories that I'm sure we could both kind of go through different stories, the countries we've been in. We can probably name off countries for 2 hours, or like
We could
places
be
we've
here
been.
all day.
Yeah, sure. But the big point about this, and we're gonna take a quick pause here, just to kind of let y'all simmer into that, because I don't want to get into this conversation and then feel like I'm off topic, but to kind of go back to what we were saying about this love. You loved something, whether it's you said you didn't quit. You told me you didn't quit before, and also being jealous. That's a word, man. Like you had to really feel something missing in life to get to that point where you felt jealous of your family who you could have rolled their coattails. You could have just been the dude. You could have been Spliff Star to Busta Rhymes and be just fine. You know what I'm saying? You didn't want to do that. You also didn't say, I'm going to overtake your throne, but I'm going to create my own throne. I'm going to create my own brand. That's a powerful, I'm talking to a very powerful man, y'all. This Kelvin, whatever you call him, Vino. I have even more of admiration for you because of this one story. So again, before I get to before I get to it, I'm laughing because I'm like, wow, that's it's kind of parallel too because I feel these same feelings. Like, there's some people out there I really like, man. I seen you take off. I remember when you first started. Shout out to my boy Daryl Patterson, DP, the real DP. I remember him being in the gym. Probably had 2 or 3 clients where he just come in there and work out. Now this man, or since then, hosting workouts in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in the Dome. Doing commercials with Mercedes and having apps and things like that. Like, this guy has been, you know, through so much. I'm pretty sure ridicule and all these other things as a fitness guy, but I know he did the right thing. He did the steps. He went to school for it. He's not just saying I'm a personal trainer and then just saying, oh, I just same with you. Like, you actually went through the work. You played AAU, played in high school, you went through college, and 12 years ain't no, it's something you just sniff at. You know what I'm saying? That's some longevity for a league that what percentage you think even make it professionally? Forget the NBA. It's probably even lower, just because I know the rules that comes with being a U.S. citizen and playing overseas. I'm pretty sure it's only 2 or 3 that can play on a team, if I'm
Depends on
not
the
mistaken.
country.
Depending on the country,
Depends on
okay,
the country.
for
Yeah,
the
depends on the
club.
country.
But yeah, I just want to pour that into you, man, because I appreciate you sharing that, and then also being available to share it, and also be vulnerable and transparent. Because, like you said, men don't really get. I know you got your own podcast and own platform, and where you speaking on this similar thing where men, just don't talk. Just don't have those moments to have these type of conversations. So big up to you, bro.
True.
As promised, we're back to it. We took a little break, little intermission. I'm gonna slice this up a little bit, but we back. We talking to Vino, Kelvin Martin, and your boy Wandoe, Jawan Moldro. We on. I don't even
Big
know what
Joe.
episode we on. Yeah, Big Dro. You already know what it is, man.
Big Joe.
Not yeah, and I hope people that see Dro in this element understand, like, your boy hasn't changed a whole lot, but I have evolved, and I feel like at a certain time you have to. And
For sure.
yeah, we had a point in this conversation where the evolution of Vino has made it here. He's coming up through the ranks in AAU, coming through the ranks and getting offers and things like that. So, and around that time, this is what year you say? Around 07, 08?
07, 08, yeah. I graduated
07,
oh 08,
08.
so yeah.
So while you going through your transformation, I'm in the military. Year 2 for me, I'll get deployed. First
Oh wow.
deployment. Yeah, so first deployment year, my second year, it's like it's what they call a cake base. It's called Qatar. A lot of Doha. A lot of people like to go there for travel, but I wasn't going there for
mm,
that. I was going there to work, and yeah, got to see the first time out of the country like ever. And you got your uniform. It's hot. It's August, September, October, and around that time. So it's 100 degrees at midnight. You know, you're dealing with MREs. Those are the meals ready made.
I know
Yeah,
about it.
yeah,
Military family.
yeah,
I
yeah,
know about
exactly.
it.
You already know what it is.
Yeah.
So you're dealing with, like I said, the heat, the camel spiders, being away from home, the isolation, things that we don't talk about. Usually when we're in it, everybody like, oh, you're going to deploy, you're going to make some money, um, whatever the case may be. And it's really really not that. It's 12-hour shifts. It's you trying to prove yourself as I was Air Force, so as an airman, going up the ranks. And not to get too deep into that, but just really not you isolated and not having people to really talk to who can relate to what you're going through, what you're going through, and what you're going into. It's a lot of cutthroat things. So, and I can imagine the stuff you went through as a hooper, where it's like, okay, I'm trying to make a team. Y'all don't know me. I'm not from here. I'm sure you have guys from New York, and I'll let you speak on that, like from all these other places, and you're just really trying to prove yourself in the game. So, like, can you speak on that? Like, when you get the offer, you get the call, like, hey, come meet me here. Here's the date. You got to be here this time. Kind of walk us through that.
Of course. Yeah. The thing about in anything that you do in life, we especially as men, we're taught to be in this proving ground situation where we always got to prove ourselves. And that's just in America, period. That's just a mindset. You got that dog, you got that every man for himself type of thing. And that's our mentality, which until you get older, you understand. For me, so like for me, till you get older, you understand that you're going to need help. You're going to need to be willing to ask people to help you, get some knowledge. And when I was young, I had a few people. Like I had my coach, Coach Blacksher, Coach Charles. When I was in high school, when I got to college, I had Jamarco more so. Jamarco Warren, who was like my brother for a long time. He was the first. He was my person. He was the person that took me on my visit, on my recruiting visit. He was there, and since that day forward, like he's the reason why I went to Charleston Southern. Uh, big part of the reason why I'm a professional basketball player because he's also my trainer. He's
Right.
the one that trained me through the years and prepped me for everything. But it gets back to the situation of when you're going to try to go into a situation that's new, we only go with the knowledge that we know. And I think moving forward and knowing what I know now, because back then I didn't have no mentor. I didn't have no role models that I can look up or anybody that really knew the experiences I went through. Even in not just the experience I went through, but just about life, like helping me go through these situations and understand how to handle it. So it was difficult at times because I didn't know. So everything I had to learn was from experience, which a
Sure.
lot of us are doing, like just
Sure.
learning from experience, which I want to change that narrative and just kind of make it where like we have a group of people, which is what Real Heart is part of it is about. Just having a group of people that where we can go and you can ask because for me, I know a lot of people because do basketball.
Hmm.
So it's like even if I don't know your experience, I know someone that knows your experience, and I can probably direct you to that person because most of the people that I deal with, they're similar, they're like minded, like me. I'm not gonna deal with somebody that's not. I can't, I can't sit together with. I can't sit at the same table. You know, it's not
Understood.
always like you just said. Like you go over, you got deployed, and everybody looking at it like a situation. Like, you making money, you doing this, you doing that. They don't know the things you have to go through. They don't know the politics you have to deal with in the military. You don't
Right.
know how people try to snake you and try to put you down so they can be up.
Yep. That happens
It's
all the
this,
time.
it's the situation. So they don't know that. All they see is the big picture. It's
Yeah.
same with basketball. Like I play overseas. Oh, you play overseas, you making this, that, and the third. Well, in the reality of it, in the beginning, you're not making nowhere close to something like an NBA player when they first start out. And the league minimum is like a mil after taxes, maybe 800,
Yeah.
1,000. Yeah, it's nowhere close to how you're making, especially in
And
some
that's stretched
countries.
out over a year's time, right?
Yeah, you know what I mean? So a lot of the times the reality of the situation when you first starting to play basketball, especially when I was starting, it's you bet off McDonald's people. People, it's no diss to nothing, but the people that work in a 9 to 5, a regular job, back at home is probably making more money than you.
Mm.
You just doing what you love to do, and you're just grinding it out to get to where you need to get. And that
Yeah.
took me about 5, 6 years of just going through the same things I probably went through in high school and in college. So when you're trying to do something, you're in these new situations, you have to be open minded and you have to seek help if you can. Because a lot of times I didn't do this. So a lot of things I'm just trying to learn on my own. And you can't expect everybody to be that way. But I didn't have like a lot of guys I know that hoop that's my friends now. They had OGs that was putting them on like, hey, don't do that. You shouldn't do this. Put your money this way. Do this. It's more so of if you're young and you're black and you come from a small city, small neighborhood, small town, and someone's giving you some money to play, it's you don't know. So
Right.
you're just
There's
coming
no
to money.
management. Yeah.
Only thing you thinking about, man, I got to get the latest J's. I gotta go out. I gotta turn up. I gotta do. And the reality is, it's a lot of things you should be doing, but everybody don't have that mentorship. Everybody don't have that. And I was one of those people that didn't have that. I just learned from my mistakes. And the thing is that even though we get so hard on ourselves when we make a mistake and we do something wrong and we don't get it right the first time or the second time or the third, it's no need for that, because how are you going to learn? You can't grow by just doing everything right. At some point you're going to have to fail. Failure is not a lot, it's not the worst thing ever. It's probably failure is the blessing, actually. You know what I mean? Because you get to understand something that someone at the top doesn't really know. And I've seen that. I rubbed shoulders and talked to people that made millions of dollars. And I also see these people be depressed because just because they got all the money in the world, they could buy things doesn't mean they necessarily have it all mentally, spiritually. Just how you may be feeling. So
It's
I
so
go through
so
these hardships. I'm listening. What you
so
say?
true. No, it's so truthful. Literally, during our intermission period, I went to Bible study. What did I talk about today? Second chances. God gives us second chances all the time. However, what we do with that is what makes us. And I'm sure you had, we both had in our respective industries had our chances to either succeed or to mess up. You had tryouts. I tested for rank. You know, I've been in front of people, like you said, may not be in a financial stature, but it had rank. The bars, and I had a chance to impress them or to be a certain type of impression as a black man in a already marginalized system of the military where they want you to be something else. They want you to be your way. I don't care. Army, shout out to y'all. Marines, Coast Guard. Now we got Space Force, Air Force. All these branches are all they trying to make you become something versus you really getting a chance to just become something. Because I feel like as a hooper, you can kind of set your limits. Basically, you choose what team you want to go to or the country, or because I'm sure you can set. Say with us, we could choose like a base. That don't mean you're going to get the base because you put it on your dream sheet. But if you get that said base, you still need to show up as if you are, or either way, you need to show up for yourself as if you got everything you wanted, because that second chance may not come back around. And I had to learn that after I got out. I didn't learn about my position in the military till I was already on the other side. And I'm like, wow, I really dropped the ball and used the word fail. I like to use the word fall. I'm not trying to rhyme, but it just fell. It just happened that way. But I feel like I've fallen, but I know when I fall, I can get up. And
Hmm.
failure, they say, losses are lessons. But I feel like when you say you failed something, it may not be something you want to even go back to. Even this podcast, we got the same element. Like you said, you want to join a community. You know people. I know people. Military community, entertainers, artists, hoopers. I have people in a business sense from other countries that I can call or email right now. And just because both of us we genuine people, they know we don't want anything from them but probably an opportunity or a
Hmm.
conversation or just to try to get to understand their life, and that goes much further than a dollar in my mind,
Hmm.
in my heart. So appreciate you sharing that,
Yeah.
man. That perspective is everything.
Perspective is something that I had to understand a little more deeply now, because even when it comes to Rare Heart, I always had my perspective on something. So
Mm-hmm.
now, even before, like my whole thing is I want to be behind the camera. I don't even want to be in the camera. I want to be behind the scenes. I want to tell somebody else's story, because there's a lot of people that need to be heard. There's a lot of things that needs to be addressed that people don't know. So perspective is, I always, like I tell one of my little brothers all the time, I'm just saying sometimes we looked at things like this all the time. And it's like, if you just do like this and look at it from this angle, you may have a whole different
Completely.
perspective.
Yep.
And then also, you have to really respect the people. Like, I had to learn this myself, though. I really had to take the time to like listen. I love to listen to people, what they have to say. I like to know people, what they got going on or whatever. Not for just to use. I just want to understand. So I may ask questions. So, but you get perspective from listening to other people and see how things from their side instead of just trying to respond, listening to understand. So that's a lot of
Absolutely.
times what I try to do when it comes to when it comes, especially now when it comes to perspective. I just really try to really take in what something is saying when someone is saying something to me, regardless if it's about me negatively or it's about them and they're trying to help me understand them so I can handle them in a better light. So
Love that. And so with Rare Heart, and this, we'll make this like one of our last segments because I know it's getting late. Outside of the cause, you talk about perspective. You talk about responding versus reacting.
mhm.
When I look at your shirt, it's a reaction. It's big, it's bold, it's red, black, and so where did this concept come from? The colors, the heart, as you looking at your perspective is coming to light. I feel like this is your art form. Like basketball is an art
Yeah,
form, speaking is an art form. Like your clothing, like you have inspired me to start putting the Doe Spot on wristbands and on things I do. I look for it soon, y'all. Like look for the merch is on the way
for
because
sure, for
your
sure.
perspective has now driven and drawn me to you. So when people see your stuff, what do you think their reaction is, and what is your reaction, your response when you have shown the sketches? You get where I'm going. Like once
Yeah, I
your inspiration
understand.
behind it. Yeah,
I understand. From other people's perspective, when they see it, for me, I feel like it's different. They don't expect it. Like recently, I was in where I was in Dallas, Texas, and I had this shirt. It was one of my first shirts I had when I designed the new
like a
logo.
concept, one of the concept shirts that you probably didn't
Yeah, it was like
even
my first
sell.
shirt. It's my when I first dropped this logo, because I changed it to a heart with the rare. I seen like this. I get inspired by just seeing certain things, and I had a normal logo. I was playing with the logo a lot. I'm like, dang, I just don't know. And I seen something that caught my attention. I was like, I like this because I'm big on simplicity. Shout out to Steve Jobs. His book really inspired me. I'm gonna read Elon Musk's book soon. But anyway, that's something else. Anyway, it was my first thing, and like I always try to make like statements that just stand out. And one of the statement that came with the shirt was it was to to love and to be loved is rare. And it was on the back of the shirt. And like this girl, like I had walked to the bathroom and she seen it and she came to me. But everybody loved this shirt. When I was in DC, I was in DC. Older woman looked at the shirt. Same, it was the red, it was a different colorway. She was like, "Oh my God, I love this shirt. That's so true what it is." And it's just that because a lot of times when it comes down to love, it's just not the concept of what people think about love. They think about love in just a relationship standpoint. But love is bigger than that. You know, we can get spiritual. That is love. We can get physical, where it's just a connection of love. But for real heart, our mission is to spread love and positivity. Not but by creating opportunities, by uh by sharing resources, by inspiring the mind. So that is love because you are going out your way to do something for someone else. That's why there's not a lot of people that would do that. A lot of people would keep all the information for themselves, only want to be the top person, always want to be the gatekeeper, want to do that, but not me. If you want to
Right.
drop a clothing line, and usually you contact me and say, man, I'm going to give you all the information I have.
Respect.
I'm not going to hold nothing from you. And if you blow up and be bigger than anything else, I'm gonna be happy for you.
Right.
Like, I'm
Same.
not gonna sit here and be mad because I gave you the information, you didn't give
Yeah.
me credit,
They didn't shout me out. Yeah.
you ain't
That's the
shot
see it
me
all
out,
see it
and
all
you
the time.
big. Like, nah,
Hmm.
like I know what I did. Cause that's the whole thing. I just told you I want to be behind the scenes. A lot of times, everything that I do is not going to be showcased. That's what a person with a rare heart is. You're not gonna everything that you do is never going to see. It's not always going to see the light. But that doesn't mean that it's in the dark, because it's going to shine through others. Your work, my work, everybody else's work is going to shine through others, because I like shout out to Adrian Banks. He was one of my teammates. I remember we was playing in the quick story. We was playing in the we was playing in Italy. It was this is the COVID year too. We was
Mm.
playing in Italy. We was in an Italian Cup. I was playing with Brindisi, and we was playing against Venice. And we in this situation. Before we go out there, he was good at speeches. I was commending him on that. I was like, bro, you got some. Every
Yeah.
time you talk, I be ready to play. I told him, like,
Yeah.
I be ready to go out there and go for everything, because he was our
Get you
captain.
fired up. Yeah.
And it's rare. It's rare to see a American that's a captain in Europe. Like, it's just
Sure.
not.
Oh
It's
yeah, I
just
get
not.
it.
It's different.
Right.
So, he talked about leaving a legacy. Like, he was like, this moment here is a moment to leave a legacy. And I understood that, because I played in Bologna and I won a championship overseas. I got the opportunity to play with some amazing talent, and won a championship. So I knew what it meant. No matter if they like me, no matter if they wanted to support me, no matter if they want me on the team again, I'm embarked in that legacy of whatever Bologna stands for. And they're a basketball city. And now they done amazing things afterwards. But even before that, they done amazing things. But I'm a part of that.
You're part of that, exactly.
So when it comes down to Red Heart, it's the same. It's something that I see, like, not to compare, but I, I know it's like with Nipsey, the marathon continues. Everybody knew about Nipsey, and it came along, and then rest in peace to Nipsey. And when he passed, the marathon continues. Like, he was already up there,
Sure.
but
Yeah.
TMC went crazy
Yeah.
after that.
I definitely copped a
So
couple shirts myself.
So it's like, that's just what I know. Right now, people don't see the vision; they don't understand it. You don't have to. It's similar to when you read in the Bible. Because I went to Bible study today. It's similar when you read in the Bible. I remember when I was a kid reading something. I didn't get it. I don't understand it. 2, 3, 4 years, 5, 10 years later, you get this same verse. You're like,
There it
I
is.
get it
And
now.
apply it now. It's
I can
relatable.
understand.
It's a
I understand
relatability.
now.
Yeah.
So but that's how life is, you know what I mean? So it's like, when we come up with these ideas and creations and all this stuff, like, you gotta understand that everybody's not gonna understand you. Everybody's not gonna see your vision. Everybody's not gonna understand it. Some people will. They'll be like, nah, this is different, bro.
Mm.
I ain't never seen nothing like this. They get it. Others, they follow the
Hey,
trends.
and we can't worry about that. And this is where I step in and say I completely understand on a what they call a local level. When I was in England the past 3 years, 2022, I was a part of their championship team. Like we beat, I'm a dad basically. Like these I'm playing with guys in this league that play are now playing for clubs. They
Hmm.
were a bunch younger than me, but they say, "Hey, oh man, oh American, we need a point guard. We need you to bring the ball up." And I'm doing things that in my head, I'm like, man, if I had this same uh, tenacity and this confidence in myself when I was a teenager, I would likely be on the team. But I couldn't continue holding myself to that old mind. What do I
Hmm.
need to do to inspire them, fire them up? These 22-year-olds, these young guys with no kids, or they might want to have a kid, but these young guys that, really just needed to see another way, see it another way, who cared about them. You know,
Hmm.
what most people didn't see, they saw us on the court, but they didn't see the text messages. They didn't see the confidence building I would do. Hey, could you come work with me? After on a weekend, on a weekday, I'm leaving my family of three or 2 at the time, but almost 3 to go play and hoop and get up in the middle in the morning and coach and doing all these things based on your concept, based on understanding. I know my time was limited. I know once our time was up, we was gonna get stationed somewhere else. Now I'm in Texas, able to do the same thing. The marathon continues. I can't worry about the shots I missed or the people I pissed off or the people that looked at me like, he don't need to be here, or why is he yelling, or whatever I showed out there.
Why is he
I,
yelling?
I'm Chris Paul, bro. Like, especially on the court, like I'm nagging, I'm barking at the refs, I'm barking at my teammates, but it really is like, I want y'all to be better, and I want you to
Mhm.
push me to be better as well. But yeah, one more thing you brought up, people seeing your vision. Big shout out to a person that drew me to you, our boy Terrius Smith. I'm
Mhm.
stationed with Terrius. I always looked up to Terrius. Terrius has been one of my biggest supporters, both from Wandoe, from Dro, all the way back. So, and I had a conversation with him in May. Actually, that was May last time we spoke. So, yeah, that's a guy that I always looked up to. I love his poise, his leadership on the court. Also, in when he was in the military serving, and now he's getting his fitness together, and great devoted husband. His daughter has a book, so I'm gonna definitely tag Terry's, and he already know he gonna see this, and he gonna be like, man, I mean, just people like that. You really just need that one person. You don't really need them, but I feel like once you get that person that, it's not like he's a newcomer in my life. He's somebody that's been around. He's always been supportive. He's always looked to me, and we kind of feed off each other. So that's just someone that I know that we can say,
Yeah, man.
oh yeah, big
Terrence,
support.
Terrence, Terrence actually, he was stationed in Italy and actually came to
Okay.
see me play a preseason game. And it
Right.
was, but the thing about the story about that was so unique about him is that me and Terrence used to go at it at the military base. For a
Mm,
time, I could used to get on the base, like when I was in my early 20s, and we used to go at it. Like,
right.
I remember every weekend, like,
Yeah, he ain't
it
turning no
was
smoke
always
down, bro.
it was always someone new that they was trying to get to, like, just like, yeah, I got something for you now. I'm
Right.
like, yo, Tez, I don't care about none of this. Like,
Oh, he
so,
was talking.
no, yeah, but we used to battle it out. And yeah, man, he's still to this day. Terrence helped me out all the times, man. Like, he helps me out all the
Mm,
time, like all the time. Like, just with certain situations, whether it's stocks, whether it's cybersecurity, like he's very like he's just a genuine soul. Like, just an older man that you just need, some like young guys need in their life, man. Even for
mm,
me, my age. So you just but that's what I mean. Like, people like you, Terrace, me, this is the space that we have to be in for the youth, because
right.
they think they know it, and it's a little bit more technology realm right now where everything is, but there's basic skills that you're gonna have to need. It's motor skills you're gonna have to need and have to understand to be able to navigate through life. You're just not gonna be able to communicate through everybody through a computer or messages or whatever. You're gonna have face on face and really know some skills
Mm-hmm.
and just certain things to do. Like, and knowledge of certain things, or just how to carry yourself, how to handle certain things. And I'm not trying to sit here and say that we got all the right answers.
Oh yeah, not an expert. Please don't. No. I'm working on licenses and things, but I'm not an expert. I'm working
Yeah,
through. I'm a work in progress, just like most people are. So
but
absolutely,
we have the experience and
yes,
we
sir.
know the ups and the downs, and
Mm,
just kind of keeping going, that it's gonna work out. You're gonna outwork work through the kings. So that's the most important thing. So when you see Rare and you see Real Heart, it just stands out and it's bold and it's a statement. It's a statement for love, not just loving others, but loving yourself too. Loving yourself enough to do what you need to do to be successful. But successful not in the eyes of what people view success, but what you view success. Because a lot of times we're chasing something that doesn't really mean success, because it's almost like sometimes people chase something, they get there and they're like, oh, I'm here. Like, so what? I tell you this, I had a dream one day,
okay.
and in this dream, I'm in the sand. I'm like climbing like a sand mountain. It's crazy. climbing this sand mountain, trying to get to the top, trying to reach to the top. Climbing. I'm like, man, I gotta get to the top. Mentality. We talked about it. I gotta get to the top. I gotta get to the top. I gotta be successful. And I'm climbing the sand mountain. There's nothing that can help me really climb the because
Yeah, there's
I'm
nothing to
just
hold
falling.
on to, or
I'm
it's
I'm just
sand.
staying. I'm
Yeah.
staying at this stable level. And it get to the point where at one point I'm like, I realize I'm not making no progress. Like, what am I doing right now? I said to myself, I said, bro, you just gotta let go. Knowing that when I look down, it's a bottomless pit. It's death down there. I'm like,
Exactly. Yeah.
am I gonna kill myself climbing to the top? Or I'm gonna just let go. I let go. Within the moment of me letting go, I slide into this. I let go, thinking I'm about to thinking I'm about to die. As soon as I let go, I slide into this like area, and I'm just in comfort. I'm just like, okay. I wake up. I'm like, what in the world did I just dream of?
Hmm.
And it gave me two sides of it. One side was like I just said, what we think is success is not really success.
Right.
Success could be what you view success to be. Whether that is just having a job, being able to take care of your family, and just traveling the world. You don't have to be on every billboard and see everything and just because that comes with a lot. It comes with
Oh,
a
yeah.
lot more responsibility, and you have to understand that. But if you don't, then you're gonna find yourself in situations. And the second point was it was to the point of me letting go of
Letting
something
it
that I
go.
wanted so bad. And it was
That,
like
that didn't
some
exist for real. Like you said, where are you actually climbing to? Where are you working so? What are you actually working so hard for?
exactly.
Success when you probably already had it. You've already been
And, and
this. You know.
and I don't know, you're sitting there
Yeah.
thinking that, but I'm looking at somebody else's perspective of
There you
success,
go.
not
Yeah.
just thinking that this person think I'm successful just
True.
by what I do. So it's just like we have to kill all the noise, man. We have to really dial in and just focus on love, ourselves and others. If you can help, help. If you can't, man, we understand. Like, but it's a lot of things. Money is not the only way that you can help somebody. Money is not the only way that you can show that you love
You
somebody.
know, I'm taking note. Kill the noise. That's a.
Nah.
I mean, even we on this mic right now, and it's metaphorically, y'all. But killing the noise is more so outside of anything else that don't sound like something you or that you're likely capable of. We all have a capacity. We all have limits. I know it used to be a thing growing up. You can do anything you want to do. That ain't quite true. Not everybody can do anything they want to do. But I took that
Mm,
as, what, as long as I do work hard and try to get in that position, because I told my consultant the other day or last week, I could see myself being a GM somewhere. This is a person that
mm,
used to mumble all the time. People are, you mumbling, but the thing is, I was afraid to speak. It
mm.
wasn't that I didn't have anything to say. I was afraid to speak up and somebody hear me.
You speak very well though.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And
And you sound very clear and you
I had
very
to get
understanding.
lots of work.
Understanding like where it's like when you speaking, it's like your message is delivered.
I appreciate that. I need that. I need to hear that. I need to hear that how I sound to me. If I listen back, I do listen back at myself. I'm like, I can tell from the earlier episodes where I'm kind of like, yeah, this one though. Now I'm like, hey, listen to
Yeah,
me, like,
your
and check
confidence
out
is
my
there.
guests
I
too.
love it.
Let's talk about this because we need to have more of me's available and use available for the kids who are like us,
Mm,
who are angry because they didn't make the team, who say, you know what, forget sports, forget school, forget trying to be successful at this level because I didn't make the team because the coach didn't like me or whatever it may be. And you can continue to using those excuses. Let me channel this in real quick. Okay, yeah. If you're serious about changing your life, you'll find a way. If not, you'll find an excuse. I mean, it don't get no, it don't take a lot of effort or intelligence to understand that. You want to make a change, you want to be the change. You get out there and tell people about it. Hey, I don't like the way this is going. I have no clue how to get to where I want to go. Let me tell someone about it. Or will I just sit and soak and watch everybody and click and scroll on my phone and complain? We got the election coming up, very soon, and many things will not change because we haven't changed. Our mind isn't changing and our heart isn't changing. So if those two things don't really coincide and come together, and you align them with like-minded people who think and feel like you, and not everybody's going to be on this positivity wave either. We already know that.
Sure.
But let's band it
Sure.
together. Let people know that I like Rare. You know what? I ain't quite feeling that, or I like that episode, or I ain't quite feeling. That's one thing I do wish I had more of, and I know it's coming, but more of that critique. But I had to learn as well. If I'd have got the critique I wanted to, like some months back, I'd probably be upset. I wouldn't want to do it.
What you just said was important to understand for just people in general, just
Right.
knowing that, how you talked about getting criticism, like,
Mm-hmm.
getting that feedback. A lot of us are kind of scared because of how social media throws it at you. It throws you at
Right.
you at like they throw it at you like you're not a human being. Like they don't respect your existence to life. And it can kind of mess with you. Whereas me, it's like I look at it like, man, you just gotta have a community around you that is not that has the same mindset, the same thought pattern of you, be on the
Yeah.
same frequency of you that is willing to spread that love that I talk about. Love is not always pretty. It's tough. It can be tough sometimes. It can be like, hey man, what you doing is not right. And you might not want to hear that, but you
Yeah.
need to hear it. So with that type of community, you can get that feedback when it comes down to something that you got that you're passionate about, whether it's a podcast or you're playing in sports or whatever idea you have. And
Mm-hmm.
that's things I'm working towards anyway. Just getting those people together and just being able to have that where it's like, hey, I got this idea. Like, what y'all think? Well, I don't really too much like it. And then don't get discouraged when someone criticizes something that you got going on. Like we just talked about, they might not see what you see, and that's okay. Like
Yeah.
if you're
Exactly.
truly passionate about it, go do it. Be an overcomer.
Yeah.
Overcome. We overcome so much in our lives that it's just important to overcome. You don't really know how much you have overcame. You know what I mean? So
Absolutely.
you
Poverty,
get
criticism, just you're at places, whoever's listening, you're at a place right now that even being alive, I know that might seem like very surface level, but being alive for some people, when you was in the same club as they were, you were in the same car that got in a car accident, you were in the same I was in Afghanistan. I got homies now that served in Iraq, spinning shootouts, and they're I can call them right now, and I have others I can't. Or that were stationed with me that are no longer in existence. So
yeah.
yeah, overcoming is definitely something we shouldn't sneeze at or ignore.
So it just to because I had wrote something down and it was just I wrote on my notes. I write on my notes too
Oh, I got
much.
I got plenty of notes. I got topics for days.
So it's all in your head. You're the one doubting, projecting, and criticizing. Do not allow fear to win. Free yourself by letting go of your own self abuse and be brave. Thoughts created by yourself or others are simply inputs that are not always required. This simple implication will help you overcome all your troubles. It is just temporary. We are overcomers, and whether you have realized it or not, you have overcome many obstacles in your life. When you thought there was no way out to the light, when trouble happens, stress burdens us, or thoughts crowds our mind, we only see the dark, negatives. But there is always light, positives. At the end of the tunnel, we just have to find our way to it. And I kind of made like a definition of temporary, a period of time of something you are connected with
That's
and
it.
overcome.
That's
Like
it.
no matter what it is, everything, it is something that I heard 3 or 4 years ago. This shall pass too. And when you think about it, you don't want to get so spiritual about it. Think about it in this light. It's just temporary. It's just something for a period of time that I'm connected to, that it'll be away. And you won't even realize it that 2, 3 years later, you're like, man, I remember I was going through this situation. I remember this was happening,
Oh
like
yeah,
like, and you be like, man, it's just temporary.
happens all the time. I mean, stress, pain, grief,
Yeah.
and that's not to say we're diminishing how you
Mm-mm.
feel or invalidating how you feel. It's more so don't you shouldn't be stuck on any one thing, even if it is something, especially if it's something that's hurting you
Hmm.
internally and externally, because it usually is going to come out. Like they said, what you eat. You can tell someone that works out or someone that eats healthy or doesn't. You can see it. So be yourself, be
Oh,
rare,
that's key.
because
That's key. Be
because
yourself.
you're gonna get exposed if you're not. I'm J Wandoe, by name, but if I'm trying to be like a Joe Budden, anybody that has a podcast that's doing something else, I'm gonna fail. I can't follow up their formula. I don't want to, for one, but I can't. It's too much work. I don't have
Hmm.
a studio, but we're gonna get there. We're definitely on the way.
In due
In
time,
time,
man. In due
absolutely.
time, we're gonna be sitting on couches or something.
Come on now, and it's gonna be alive. I have, I,
Alive.
all
Okay.
that, and I got some guests lining up, and but right now we got Vino, Kelvin, Martin, and we just gonna sign off and come back to it another time. But man, I really truly appreciate your time. Uh, the and I'm not saying like the effort. Like I feel like this was an effortless conversation. Probably the one of the
Hmm.
most smooth for somebody I've never dapped up. Like we
Yeah.
met through Instagram, just virtually, and then understanding that we both want the same thing,
Mhm.
and we can probably run down a whole list of whatever those things are. But obviously, you guys can hear the chemistry and the connections we have with each other and other people. So I really hope and pray that y'all continue to do this too. Like I want somebody. I want to have more people starting podcasts, and then y'all go check out his podcast. That's been popping up over the time. The car rides. I love the poem you did a couple of weeks back. I think
I got
about
another
giving
one
up.
coming soon, man. I
Yeah,
got another
please. This is me. I ain't posting today, but other days I'm flooding. I'm like post story, story. And you just got to get it when you can get it. Like it's almost like
one.
like Jordan's back in the day when it wasn't just like 3 or 4. It was, you had to wait a couple weeks for another release. That's what I want my material to be like. I don't want you to just be like, oh, another episode's out. Nah, I wanted to be meaningful. So this is definitely meant a lot, means a lot. Again, appreciate your time, sir.
Hey, man. Thank you for having me. It's been a blessing to be on here just to have a conversation. It's not always that you just can talk, man to man with people.
Sure.
And I love those opportunities, just to be able to speak freely and just have that conversation. As you said, which, I'm probably going to steal. I'm letting you know from now on that I'm probably going to steal it now. But as you said, I'm going to leave this note in the words of J Wandoe: be yourself, be rare.
Come on, man. We using each other. You can
Yeah.
have it. Take the sauce, the name, whatever. But I'm because it's all something we're doing together. We are a minority, but we're gonna be in the majority soon. Please don't get it twisted.
Oh, for sure. We got to
We're gonna be the
be.
majority. The love people, the positive people. There's certain people I just like. You know what? I don't think that way anymore. So I don't want to see it. And that's a whole nother topic we can get onto later. As of now, you got anything you want to leave with the people? Any tags? Because I always forget my tags. I have to go back and be like, oh, that's an underscore there or something. So
Uh,
anything you want to leave, please do.
you can just follow the rarest heart on most social media platforms. Yeah. So just the rare heart goods is out. It's always out. It's moving on, as you can see, the hockey jersey, the hat,
Yeah,
whatever.
got it on.
I probably won't drop until 2025. Something special though. Something special. Something special. Shout out to my baby. Something special.
No doubt. And
So,
Kelvin Dot Martin. Uh, how'd your
yeah,
IG?
Kelvin. I think, man. Listen, I think it's
Yeah,
Kelvin Dot
that's how I
Martin.
am too. Like
Yeah, yeah, got to be Kelvin Dot Martin one.
that
Yeah,
one or
Kelvin
something like
Dot
that.
Martin one. Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
No doubt, man. Like, love to you, bro. And enjoy your space. Kelvin just moved across the country, y'all. And Like I said, enjoy your space, take your time, get moved in, acclimated to
Yeah,
the
man.
weather, all that stuff, man. We
Yeah.
just wish you nothing but the best on this side. So it's J Wandoe. You can find me the Doe Spot _pod or the podcast or life of _ J Wandoe on IG. Thank y'all for listening. J Wandoe is the Doe Spot, and we're gonna catch y'all on the next one. Peace.
Love.
Rare.